Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. Deadly ice operation caught on disturbing video. That's coming up. The Los Angeles community demands answers after devastating wildfires 1 year later today. And Victoria police investigate an infant's death early this morning. More details are next.
One more day of warm weather, but there on the west coast is a storm that's going to finally change our weather and put us back into January-like weather. We've got some rain and some colder weather to talk about. All that in just a moment.
And some big-time news for former Refugio football and track standout Ernest "The Flash" Campbell. I'll tell you what happened later on in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry is off tonight. Victoria police are looking into the death of an infant early this morning. EMS responded to the 2100 block of North Bend Jordan Street just after 4 a.m. after receiving a call about an infant in cardiac or respiratory distress. Police were then called to assist. The baby was taken to the hospital. Authorities say the baby died. Police have not released any additional information at this time. Another Seadrift City Council alderman resigns, putting city business on pause. Tanya Cunningham announced her resignation effective immediately, citing health issues. State law requires a mayor and 3 aldermen or 4 aldermen be present to establish quorum and conduct official business. With Cunningham's resignation, the council can no longer establish quorum. We've reached out to Cunningham about her decision and are waiting to hear back. The criminal case will continue against former Uvalde School police officer Adrian Gonzalez. Judge Sid Harrell on Wednesday denied the defense request for a mistrial after defense attorneys accused prosecutors of withholding key information that was revealed during testimony on Tuesday. Harrell said he may exclude the part of Tuesday's testimony from former teacher Stephanie Hale, who testified for the prosecution that she saw the shooter, Salvador Ramos, on the south side of the school. The prosecution and defense agreed to resume the trial on Thursday with Hale still on the stand. The CDC's decision to significantly reduce the number of vaccines recommended for all children marks one of the biggest changes to childhood immunization guidance in decades. 25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman tells us what this all actually means for parents here in the Crossroads.
This week, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention made a huge move, changing the vaccine schedule that has long guided childhood immunizations across the country. Previously, vaccines protecting against 17 different diseases were universally recommended for all children. Under the updated guidance, that number drops to 11. 6 vaccines are no longer recommended for all children and are now advised only for certain high-risk groups or through shared decisions making between parents and healthcare providers. Those changes could impact vaccines that protects against illnesses like the flu, rotavirus, and bacterial meningitis, among others. We spoke with David Gonzalez at the Victoria County Public Health Department about what this could mean locally.
We're looking at doing, and any time you pull back on recommendations for vaccines, yeah, there's definitely a risk for any vaccine and any illness and disease, a risk of those rates going up with disease when you're removing those vaccines from the schedule. And flu is one for sure. We see right now we're in the middle of flu season. If you have decreased flu vaccination rates, you're going to have an increase in disease and an increase in severe illness and disease, and that's what we're seeing right now. We saw it during COVID. If you think back then, before we had COVID vaccines, high risk of occurrence of disease, you had high occurrence of severe illness, and then once the vaccine started making its way through the population, you had less risk of increase in severe disease. And
Gonzalez says at this time, no immediate changes are being made in Victoria County, noting the recommendations are still very new, but he warns reducing vaccination could increase the risk of disease spread in the community. And health officials encourage parents with questions to talk directly with their child's medical provider. They can also contact the Victoria County Public Health Department for more information. Public health leaders say they will continue to monitor guidance from the CDC as more details are released. Don.
Amaya, thank you. Chaos unfolding after an ICE agent shoots and kills a woman in Minneapolis. Authorities say it happened during an immigration-related operation. Video of the shooting emerging on social media, and a warning here, the images are disturbing.
Tonight, protests and anger on the streets of Minneapolis after a federal agent shot and killed a woman this morning, caught on horrific video posted on X. ICE claiming self-defense, local officials calling it reckless.
She appears to be a middle-aged white woman.
The incident unfolding around 10 o'clock this morning. The disturbing video posted on X shows the vehicle back up as an officer grabs a door. Then multiple shots, including through the windshield. The car accelerating and crashing.
It was horrible. I mean, she crashed her car into a parked car in front of me. A neighbor ran across the street and opened her car door to see if she could provide any assistance.
The angry crowd forced back, throwing snowballs. Agents responding with pepper spray and tear gas.
There is nothing to indicate that this woman was the target of any law enforcement investigation or activity.
The Department of Homeland Security, who announced they were sending at least 2,000 agents to Minnesota this week to begin what they called their largest immigration operation to date, says agents acted in self-defense, claiming they were stuck in the snow when the woman attacked them.
They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle.
Mayor Jacob Fry, reacting to claims of self-defense, did not mince words.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is.
He had this message for ICE.
To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here.
Governor Tim Walz urging calm, but laying blame squarely at the Trump administration's feet.
What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV. And today that recklessness cost someone their life.
And you can see several hours later, protesters are still on the streets here. The woman who was killed has been identified as 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good. These protesters say they will continue to demonstrate until ICE leaves Minneapolis. Alex Perez, ABC News, Minneapolis.
A power upgrade is on the way, reshaping how electricity moves through the crossroads and across Texas. The project targets long-standing congestion and thermal overload issues tied to Southwest Houston as renewable energy production grows. Plans include upgrades to existing substations, a new substation in Wharton County, and major conductor and equipment improvements, making Hilgi a key link between coastal, eastern, and central Texas grids. Vendors will see a few changes this year at the Victoria Farmers Market. The market is a go-to spot for fresh, homegrown food. It's run by the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent. Officials say membership fees are staying the same, but vendor fees are increasing slightly. All crafts must be handmade, and all food sold at the market must be grown within 100 miles of Victoria. One vendor expressed frustration over the changes, while many others say it's important for the market to grow and it's vital for the community. Expect a slower drive on John Stockbauer Drive over the next couple of weeks. Crews are repaving the road between Airline Road and Ben Jordan Street through January 23rd, weather permitting. Traffic will stay open in both directions, but drivers should be ready for lane shifts and use extra caution in the work zone. The work is part of the city's 2025 Mill and Overlay project aimed at smoother, safer roads ahead. And it's a good time to tell you about this for tomorrow morning because you may possibly be on John Stockbauer. Well, maybe, Mac, if we're talking about the morning and maybe fog could get in the way.
Yes, this morning the fog was very thick and very widespread and lasted for a very long time. Tomorrow, with the wind picking up a little bit, we still expect some pockets of fog. We've got a lot of humidity out there, but with a little luck, it'll burn off a little earlier, but you may have to deal with it. Now, while we don't have any rain around our area, we're already looking at the rain rolling into West Texas. Looks like El Paso is getting some heavy rain. This is the big storm that's moving on from the Pacific. It'll be rolling into Texas by tomorrow night. And then on Friday, we got a pretty good shot at getting a little rain around here. I wouldn't call it severe weather, but it'll be wet and cold by the time we get to the weekend. We'll have all that coming up in a moment.
Mike, thank you. If you see news happening, call our newsroom at 361-576-0026 or send us an email at staff@crossroadstoday.com. We just got this video in. Crowds gathered in Minneapolis tonight holding a vigil for 37-year-old Renee Good. A makeshift shrine of flowers and candles was placed on a patch of snow near where the shooting happened Wednesday morning. Good was shot and killed by an ICE officer. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said the woman tried to run the agent over with her vehicle, calling the incident an act of domestic terrorism. They called for charges against the ICE officer. Houston authorities are searching for a man who shot and killed a woman on a city bus. The deadly incident happened Wednesday afternoon. Police said the suspect walked on the bus and shot the victim in the head. He then fled the scene towards a nearby apartment complex. Authorities believe the suspect was targeting another person on the bus. The victim was an innocent bystander. Police say the suspect is between 17 to 20 years old and considered armed and dangerous. A man reportedly arrived at a hospital with a gunshot wound. Authorities believe he was also shot on the bus. Nick Reiner's high-profile attorney was removed from his case, but he says Reiner is not guilty of murder under California law. Nick Reiner is accused of killing his parents, Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner. Attorney Alan Jackson did not explain why he left the case. A public defender was appointed to replace him. Reiner's plea hearing was postponed until February 23rd. The prosecution has not decided on seeking the death penalty. Jackson's departure adds new uncertainty to the case. The scars are still deep in Los Angeles, exactly 1 year after the devastating Palisades and Altadena wildfires. Residents took to the streets today demanding accountability and faster rebuilding on the anniversary of fires that destroyed more than 13,000 structures and killed 31 people.
The scars are still deep in Los Angeles. Protests today on an ominous anniversary. Exactly 1 year ago, unstoppable wildfires consuming entire neighborhoods.
There are multiple structures on fire. The hillside is burning. Unfortunately, you can't fully see it because the smoke is just that thick.
When the smoke cleared, the Palisades and Altadena fires had destroyed more than 13,000 structures and killed 31 people. Today, a community-led demonstration called They Let Us Burn, angry at the city's response to the fires, and much of the anger aimed at the mayor of Los Angeles, who was out of the country at the time.
I do understand the anger. If they need to focus them on me, you know, whatever it takes them to heal and get through this. I don't take it personally.
1 year later, fewer than a dozen homes have been rebuilt. Here in Altadena, dozens of empty lots line the neighborhoods.
We were shocked when we saw a video of our neighborhood and just all of the land plots.
For the Lombardi family, they say their property tested for high-level toxins like lead. Their home's still looking exactly as they left it, struggling to find permanent housing as they go back and forth with their insurance company.
So we have been paying this entire time. The mortgage, thank God, have not fallen behind.
We're just asking our insurance companies for what's right and due to us.
Neighbors have come together to say Altadena is not for sale to developers.
So now it's go time. It's time to build.
And homeowners tell me one of the greatest obstacles to rebuilding is actually going back and forth with insurance. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Here's some of the top headlines in the Port Lavaca wave. Avian and marine creatures are already starting to call the Beam Tract Mitigation Project home as it enters its monitoring stage in Point Comfort. And unmarked graves across Calhoun County are receiving tombstones thanks to the efforts of the Calhoun County Historical Commission. To read these stories and more, go to portlavacawave.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10 tonight, the U.S. seizes 2 oil tankers linked to Venezuela, including a Russian-flagged vessel. And more details just ahead. Also, Character AI settles multiple lawsuits after allegations its chatbots contributed to mental health crises. That's next. Tonight, the U.S. seized 2 oil tankers just hours apart, including a Russian-flagged vessel, both linked to Venezuela's oil trade. Officials say one tanker was captured near Europe after weeks of evading U.S. forces, while Coast Guard video shows another being boarded in the Caribbean. Tonight, the Trump administration is now weighing in on the seized Venezuelan oil. Here's the latest.
Tonight, the bold U.S. seizure of 2 oil tankers accused of transporting sanctioned Venezuelan oil, including a Russian-flagged vessel that had been evading U.S. forces for weeks. U.S. helicopters swooping in during a dramatic pre-dawn operation. Elite Coast Guard forces rappelling onto the deck of the Sophia, a tanker sailing in international waters near the Caribbean. Near Iceland, that Russian-flagged tanker seized, the Marinera, formerly known as the Bella One, being pursued by the U.S. Coast Guard. That vessel also linked to Venezuela's illicit oil trade, eluding capture for weeks after an earlier attempt to seize the ship in the Caribbean did not succeed. The crew hurriedly painting the Russian flag on the side of it, trying to deter a U.S. seizure. The Kremlin now demanding the safe return of that crew. The administration insisting this is all part of a larger plan to control Venezuela.
The way that we control Venezuela is we control the purse strings, we control the energy resources, and we tell the regime, you're allowed to sell the oil so long as you serve America's national interest. You're not allowed to sell it if you can't serve America's national interest.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio dismissing criticism from lawmakers who accuse the administration of having no plan, today announcing a 3-phase proposal for the future of Venezuela.
It's not just winging it. It's not just saying or speculating it's going to happen. It's already happening.
Rubio calling phase 1 stabilization, which would include the sale of roughly 30 to 50 million barrels of Venezuelan oil. The White House saying the U.S. will share in the profits. Venezuelan state-run oil company confirming today it is negotiating that sale with the U.S. The second phase, according to Rubio, recovery, which will open up Venezuela's oil market to American companies and others. The last phase, Rubio says, is transition, though no specifics were provided. Some Democrats tonight blasting the proposal.
This is an insane plan. They are talking about stealing the Venezuelan oil at gunpoint for a period of time undefined as leverage to micromanage the country.
Martha Raddatz, ABC News, Washington.
Character AI agreed to settle multiple lawsuits alleging the chatbot maker contributed to mental health crises and suicides among young people. The agreement involves Google, Character AI, and its founders after Google invested about $3 billion to license the technology. Since then, Character AI has rolled out new safety measures, including blocking users under 18 from back and forth chatbot conversations. One of the lawsuits was settled in Texas. President Trump wants a big boost in defense spending in a social media post Wednesday. Trump said he'll propose the 2027 defense budget be $1.5 trillion. That's a 50% increase from this year's budget. The president says the extra money will let him build what he called dream military and keep the U.S. safe from its enemies. The proposal comes after U.S. military strikes on Venezuela and the recent capture of its leader. To get more news, weather, and sports, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. And here are some of the highlights, the top headlines in the Cuero Record. DeWitt County recently started the new emergency notification system Everbridge to quickly send critical information to residents in emergency situations. And officials report New Year's celebrations involving fireworks resulted in only one reported incident on January 2nd. A small grass fire was sparked by a fountain-type firework that was set off in a grassy area south of Cuero. To read these stories and more, visit DeWittCountyToday.com.
Well, good evening, everybody. I do believe that the dew point and the humidity are so close together that we're going to see another round of fog tomorrow morning with a little bit of wind picking up. It may not last as long as it did this morning, but right now we're at 69 degrees after an afternoon high of 83. Yes, sir, that's not exactly what we're supposed to be doing in January, but for the rest of the week, we're going to be much closer to our average high temperatures, and in January, that means it should be chilly. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everyone. After being in the 80s as high temperatures since before Christmas, finally things are going to be changing and we're getting a little bit closer back to our normal weather pattern. Already we see it out on the west coast as it starts moving across the southwest. Now for us, we continue with that strong southeast wind. All that moisture piles up on top of us, and you saw what happened this morning and last night with the fog. Tonight, I think that the wind will be up a little bit higher, and it'll, shall we say, not allow it to be as widespread, but you will probably run into pockets of it in the morning. Already the cloud deck is getting heavy out in West Texas, excuse me, and this is all part of that storm that's coming ashore. You can see it right about there. Rain moved through Arizona, New Mexico, and even into El Paso. Now here we are in the crossroads, nothing happening in terms of precipitation, but if you go out I-10, already even Fort Stockton, Midland, Odessa, they're beginning to pick up light rain activity. They had a little heavier shower that came through El Paso earlier, and here's the really good news. See all this in purple and white? Those are winter weather watches. Big snows are going to be occurring, up to a foot of snow in the mountains of New Mexico, and this is great stuff because they had no snow at all. It had snow, but it all melted off, and so now this is going to replenish much of the snowpack that we need up in the mountain areas. Now here's the Pacific moisture rolling up into our area. You can see it right about there, already moving into far west Texas. The jet stream, where the heaviest winds are occurring, is right about here, and you can see how it's dropping a little bit farther south. So as a result of moisture, cold air, and a lot of movement in the atmosphere, yeah, it's going to get winter-like very soon. Let's take a look at the fog situation. Like I said, should not be as bad as this morning, but I can't rule it out. We've just got a lot of humidity out there, so if you're driving early, consider watching your speed. And someone called to remind me, don't use your high beams on your car, use the low beams. The high beams just reflected back on you if you're driving at night. Daytime doesn't help either. Well, let's see, the next 5 days in rainfall. There you see the first band on Thursday going through North Texas. We start picking up a little possibility down here. Then we go to Friday, and that's when we have the better chance of getting some of that rain activity through our area. We've got a whole whopping 40% chance, so we'll keep our fingers crossed because Friday night late and into Saturday, we get a frontal system that blows through, and then all of a sudden the temperatures are going to be changing. Get a load of this. 80-1 tomorrow, and then 81 on Friday. Then the front comes through, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and for most of next week, we'll be wearing winter coats because the high temperature is going to be about 60, and right about here, the winds are going to be in the 20-mile-an-hour range, so, you know, the wind chill is going to affect us. So we need to get ready for that winter feel that's finally returning to the crossroads. Now, here's storm number 1. There it goes. Storm number 2 is in the Rockies. That will come through. And Friday, like I said, is when the front comes through, and then all of a sudden it feels a lot more like January. I don't know, flip-flops and T-shirts for January the 1st. It's just really crazy. Cloudy tomorrow with a little rain activity and a high of 79. 82 in the Cuero area. Like I said, warm here and warm Friday, but then chilly, windy, and much colder as we get into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. Looks like January has finally arrived. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Maxwell with sports.
That's right, Mac. After the break, we're going to preview Victoria West and East girls soccer teams ahead of their tournament action this weekend. So stay right there. We officially started up soccer season last week. We have multiple 4A and 5A teams competing in tournament action before district will start in late January. And a first look at Victoria West girls soccer team who last year went 19-3-1 overall and undefeated in district play. This year, Warriors are 3-2 right now, and tomorrow they're heading out to San Antonio for tournament action. So before they head out to San Antonio, though, I caught up at their practice day and caught up with the seniors and Sydney Simpson and Cassandra Baez to highlight how this team looks so far and what to expect from a tough tournament in San Antonio.
The experience on the field, we all know what to expect, especially we're in the same district, so we know what's coming, and I feel like that gives us the advantage.
We kind of not as high as competition as the Smithson Valley, but I'm pretty sure they're still going to be pretty good. But if we play how we normally play and we all connect, I'm pretty sure we'll rise to the top.
Now, West is again led by a great senior class, and they're looking to help them out throughout this season because they were district champs last year, and they're looking to do it again this season. Over to Victoria East girls soccer, who last year went 14-6-2 overall and 10-2 in district, and just like West, made a deep run to the postseason there last year. So tomorrow they head out to Bay City for the Bay City Classic, and seniors Addison Temple and sophomore Gabby Castro are excited to face tougher competition this weekend and look to kind of improve their skills before district play.
Skills, I feel like for tournament season, it's like it gives us an opportunity to get better, especially for when we start our district and when the games matter the most.
Really good. I like going against a bunch of people and like scoring, obviously. I'm excited how we'll do.
Also had a chance to talk with the goalkeeper, Lydia Traxler, and she hopes that her defense can just keep helping her out because defense has really helped her. Hasn't done that much there behind the net, and that's kind of the goal overall that she wants to have. So she can have that and then get some big-time score and think they can do well out in Bay City. Now, a couple weeks ago, I highlighted former Furio football track and football star Ernest LaFlash entering his name in the transfer portal. His first option was Colorado because his head coach is heading over there. Well, that statement became reality today as he announced on social media that he will be heading to Colorado, enjoying Deion Sanders. He had his little cowboy hat on like Deion always likes to wear on his social media posts. So props up there to Ernest, and they're going to get a reliable wide receiver. I think for Colorado, they're going to need that for this upcoming season. Now, we also had Wednesday night hoops action where the St. Joseph boys and girls basketball teams battle district opponent in St. Augustine. For the boys basketball team, they head in at 10-1 overall in tonight. Now, they couldn't really get the offense going in this one. Again, St. Augustine made a lot of threes, including 8 3-pointers in this game for St. Augustine to get the victory, and they would end up winning 52-44. Nick Bludeau and Charlie Stefka led the way in scoring for the Flyers, and the boys team, they won't be back in action until Saturday afternoon when they face Faith Academy. Now, for the girls basketball team, they played before the boys team and they won 54-32. Their next opponent will be against Hallettsville Sacred Heart. That'll be at home Friday night at 6:15 p.m. That's going to do it here in sports. Don, back to you.
All right, Max, thank you. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, it's that time of year. Girl Scout cookie season is here, and a new flavor is ready to try.
Tonight, we've got a concept of a show. This is a fantastic outfit you have here.
Thanks, Jimmy.
You look like the night sky. You do. You're filled with stars.
You're not the first gentleman to have said that, let me tell you.
Girl Scout cookie season is here. Yes, it's time to put your orders in for Thin Mints, Tagalongs, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Girl Scouts of the USA officially kicked off Girl Scout cookie season this week. The 2026 season arrived with a new flavor called Explore Mores. These sandwich cookies are inspired by Rocky Road ice cream. There are a couple different ways you can get your hands on these tasty treats. You can reach out to a Girl Scout if you know one, or you can visit girlscouts.org. Okay, gentlemen, question for you. Your favorite Girl Scout cookie? Who wants it first?
I'll start off. I mean, mine's Thin Mints, but seeing that one just now, I might have to go take that one down. That one looks pretty good right there.
Would you like that with some milk?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, for me.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name, but there was a lemon cookie.
A lemon cookie?
It had a lemon flavor, and then, of course,
I know what you're talking about. I just
the
don't
do-si-dos,
remember,
and
the do-si-dos,
and then the other one, and then the other one. Yeah, that was a good one. And then there's another one that I like. Well, I like cookies.
Well, when we get to talking about cookies, Matt gets into a fog. Oh, and speaking of fogs.
Yeah, I do get a fog. I was a Girl Scout dad, so I had to carry those boxes of cookies all over the place. So I know them well. Anyway, folks, we do have a good chance for more fog tomorrow morning. Should not be as widespread as it was this morning. So with a little luck, you'll get to work and school on time. Otherwise, we're looking for a big change Friday night. Cooler weather by the weekend.
Thank you, Max. Thanks for joining us. Jimmy Kimmel Live starts now.